Hello, folks. It's Miss Ann again with another message and a story. This lesson today comes from Matthew chapter 14, and the title in my Bible is Jesus Walks on Water. Of course, this is the story where the disciples are out in the boat on the lake, and Jesus is not with them. He had sent them on out into the lake for some time out while he dispersed the crowd on the beach. And a little while later, Jesus comes walking across the water, and Peter sees him and recognizes him. And about this same time, a storm kicks up on the lake. So there's some fear, and the disciples are afraid, and Peter's afraid. But he's not too afraid to ask Jesus to invite him out on the water, to walk on the water with him. And Jesus says, Peter, don't be afraid. Come with me. An invitation that we hear often from Jesus. But sometimes we think it might be a message that's too simple, especially in the times that we're living now where there's so much anxiety. Children and parents are trying to decide what school is going to look like this week. The disciples are out in the middle of a lake. The water is stirred up with a little bit of wind and storm. Peter takes Jesus' hand. He trusts Jesus and takes Jesus' hand and steps out of the boat. But then he gets anxious again. He gets a little worried again, and he begins to sink. And Jesus says, do not be afraid. Come with me. Jesus invites us to come with him. I have a story for you this week. The title of it is Come With Me. And I think it's a good story for our time of anxiety. Listen for the message inside this story, the invitation to come. And see if it doesn't echo again the same message that's inside this scripture lesson this morning. So I'm going to turn the camera around and read you a story. Come With Me. A story by Holly McGee, illustrated by Pasquale Lemaitre. Come With Me is written in honor of friendship, bravery, and the fact that we aren't powerless, no matter how small and insignificant we may be. As a little note from Holly and Pasquale. All over the world, the news told and retold of anger and hatred, people against people. And the little girl was frightened by everything she heard and saw and felt. She asked her papa if there was something she could do to make the world a better place. Her papa said, "Come with me." Hand in hand, they walked out the door to the subway. Waiting there on the platform, her papa tipped his hat to those he met. So the little girl did too. They rode the train through the tunnels, underground, the little girl and her papa were brave and kind, and that day they won a tiny battle over fear for themselves and for the people of the world. The news kept telling of anger and hatred, and the little girl asked her mama what she could do to make the world a better place. And her mama said, "Come with me." They went to their grocery to buy some things for dinner. Now, to me, this looks like an international tienda, a little shop of the world, and to a bakery. Because one person doesn't represent a family or a race or the people of a land. Her mama cooked dinner, and the little girl set the table piece by piece, as she has always done. Plate in the middle, knife and spoon to the right, fork on the left, napkins by its side, and a water glass. The little girl sat with her mama and her papa, and they ate dinner. Her dog nuzzled her under the table. She scratched his head. "I want to do something on my own," she said. "Could I walk the dog?" Her parents looked at each other, and they looked at their child. They let her go, sending a message to the world. They would not live in fear. And when the little girl opened the door, the boy across the hall opened his door too. "Where are you going?" he asked. The little girl said, "Come with me, because two people together are stronger than one." The little boy and the little girl and the dog were happy to be out. One step at a time, they understood that what they could do to make the world a better place was that they could go on. Brave and gentle, strong and kind to one another and to all living things. As tiny as it was, their part mattered to the world. Your part matters too. Come with me. Come with me.